Welcome.
Do these 7 simple habits things to build you wealth? Most people think building wealth is all about having a high income. But the truth is, income means nothing if you don't know how to manage it. You've probably seen people making 6 figures but still living paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, others with modest salaries quietly build long-term wealth. What's the difference? It's their habits. Wealthy people think and act differently with their money, not because they were born rich, but because they built systems that work for them. In this video, we're going to break down 7 specific financial habits that wealthy people follow, and more importantly, how you can start applying them in your own life starting today. Welcome to Smart Financials, where we help you take control of your money, build wealth, and create the life you want. Before we go into the habits, let's get one thing clear. Habits are more powerful than motivation. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. These 7 habits aren't complicated. In fact, they're surprisingly simple, but over time, they create massive results. Let's get into the first habit. Why habits matter.
James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, said it best. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And those systems are built on habits. Wealthy people don't rely on luck, motivation, or even talent. They build repeatable routines that move them forward, every single day. While most people set vague goals like get rich or save more money, wealthy individuals build specific habits that support those goals, automatically. Think about it this way: if 2 people have the same income, but one spends impulsively and the other follows a system for saving, investing, and tracking their money, over time, the difference becomes massive. So now, let's break down the 7 financial habits that separate the wealthy from everyone else, and how you can start applying them, no matter where you're starting from.
Habit 1. Pay yourself first.
Most people wait until the end of the month to see what's left before they save. Wealthy people do the opposite. They pay themselves first. That means, before spending on bills, food, or anything else, they set aside a portion of their income, usually 10 to 20%, for savings and investments. It becomes non-negotiable, just like rent or electricity. Why does this matter? Because if you don't make saving a priority, life will always give you reasons not to do it. There will always be an unexpected bill, a sale at your favorite store, or a night out with friends. Paying yourself first builds the habit of treating your future self with importance. It also takes advantage of something powerful: automated investing. Wealthy people automate their contributions so they don't have to rely on willpower. It just happens. Start small. Even if it's just $5 a week, the consistency matters more than the amount. Over time, you'll train yourself to live on less than you earn, and that's the foundation of wealth.
Habit 2. Track every dollar.
Wealthy people know exactly where their money is going. Not because they're obsessed with numbers, but because they're intentional. They don't let money leak out of their lives without noticing. When you track your spending, you gain control. You start seeing patterns: how much goes to food, how much goes to subscriptions you forgot you had, or how small purchases add up over time. This habit isn't about being restrictive. It's about being aware. You can't improve what you don't measure. And when it comes to personal finance, awareness is everything. Wealthy people often use budgeting apps, spreadsheets, or even pen and paper to track where every dollar goes. It only takes a few minutes a week, but the long-term impact is massive. If you've never tracked your spending before, try this. For the next 30 days, write down every single expense, no matter how small. You'll be surprised at what you find. And once you see it, you can start making better choices.
Habit 3. Avoid bad debt.
Wealthy people are very strategic when it comes to debt. They understand that not all debt is created equal. Bad debt is debt that takes money out of your pocket, like credit card balances, consumer loans, or buying things you can't afford to impress people you don't even know. Wealthy people avoid this kind of debt at all costs. They don't finance a lifestyle. Instead, they use debt only when it helps them build assets, things that generate income or grow in value over time. This is what's often called good debt. For example, a mortgage on a rental property, or a business loan that increases cash flow. The key difference is whether the debt helps you grow your wealth, or traps you in payments. If you're currently in debt, don't panic. The goal is to stop adding new debt and start building a plan to pay it down. Focus on high-interest debt first. Every dollar you pay off is a guaranteed return on your money. Wealthy people don't carry bad debt, not because they're perfect, but because they've learned to say no to things that cost them in the long run.
Habit 4. Invest consistently.
Wealthy people don't try to time the market. They don't wait for the perfect moment to invest. Instead, they invest consistently, month after month, regardless of what the market is doing. This is called dollar-cost averaging. It means putting in a fixed amount on a regular schedule, whether the market is up or down. Over time, this strategy lowers risk and builds wealth through discipline. The important thing here is that investing becomes a habit, not an occasional decision. It's just part of their monthly routine, like paying a bill, except this one pays you back later. And you don't need a lot of money to start. Many wealthy people began by investing small amounts. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Whether it's index funds, stocks, ETFs, or other long-term investments, they build wealth not through luck, but through regular contributions, compounded over years. If you're new to investing, start simple. Pick one platform, choose one fund, and set a small amount to go in automatically every month. The key is to get started, and keep going.
Habit 5. Delay gratification.
Wealthy people don't fall into the trap of instant gratification. They understand that short-term pleasure often costs long-term wealth. Instead of buying things on impulse, they choose to delay their desires for a better future. This doesn't mean they never enjoy life or treat themselves. It means they prioritize long-term goals over short-term desires. For example, they might choose to invest in assets that build wealth instead of buying luxury items that lose value quickly. Think about this: you can either buy a new car now, which loses value the moment you drive it off the lot, or you can invest that money, watch it grow, and use that wealth to buy something even better in the future, without relying on debt. Wealthy people are masters of delayed gratification. They understand the concept of sacrificing today for a better tomorrow. If you struggle with impulse spending, try the 30-day rule. If you want to buy something that's not essential, wait 30 days before making the purchase. This simple rule will give you time to assess whether the purchase is really worth it, and often, you'll find you don't even want it anymore. Delaying gratification might feel tough at first, but as you start to see the results of your patience, it becomes easier.
Habit 6. Keep learning.
Wealthy people never stop learning. They understand that financial education is not something you complete, it's something you continuously build on. Knowledge is a tool, and the more you have, the more you can leverage it to make better financial decisions. This isn't about going to school or getting a degree. It's about investing in yourself, reading books, listening to podcasts, watching videos like this one, attending seminars, or simply keeping up with trends in personal finance and investing. The world of finance is always evolving. Wealthy individuals stay informed, not just for the sake of learning, but because they know that the more they know, the more opportunities they can take advantage of. Whether it's learning about new investment vehicles, understanding the latest tax laws, or simply becoming a smarter spender, the key is never to stop growing. And here's the secret: you don't need to be an expert in everything. Just pick one thing to learn at a time and get better at it. Once you build that knowledge, move on to the next thing. Over time, you'll have a solid financial education that can set you apart from the majority. Start by reading one financial book this month, or commit to learning about an area of finance that interests you. The more you learn, the better you'll get at managing your money. Now let's move on to the 7th and final habit.
Habit 7. Set clear financial goals.
Wealthy people know exactly what they're working toward. They don't just say, "I want to be rich." They have specific, clear, and measurable financial goals that guide their actions every day. Whether it's achieving a certain net worth, buying a house, reaching financial independence, or retiring early, they set concrete targets and break them down into smaller, actionable steps. By setting clear goals, they can track their progress and make adjustments as needed, ensuring they stay on course. Without clear goals, it's easy to drift through life, making random decisions with your money that don't contribute to your long-term success. But when you know what you're working toward, every financial decision becomes part of a larger plan. Start by asking yourself, what do I want my financial future to look like? Do you want to buy a house by 30? Retire early at 50? Pay off all your debts in the next 5 years? Write it down. Make it specific, measurable, and with a deadline. Once your goal is clear, break it down into smaller milestones. For example, if your goal is to save $100,000 for a house in 5 years, that means you need to save about $20,000 a year. How will you do that? Maybe it's through investments, side hustles, or cutting back on expenses. The key is to have a roadmap that you can follow. Wealthy people understand that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So set your goals, create your plan, and take consistent action toward achieving them.
Summary of key points.
To wrap things up, let's quickly recap the 7 financial habits that wealthy people follow. 1. Pay yourself first. Prioritize saving and investing before anything else. 2. Track every dollar. Be aware of where your money is going so you can make smarter choices. 3. Avoid bad debt. Use debt strategically, and avoid the type of debt that drains your finances. 4. Invest consistently. Invest regularly, regardless of market conditions, to build wealth over time. 5. Delay gratification. Sacrifice short-term desires for long-term financial goals. 6. Keep learning. Continuously educate yourself on personal finance and investing. 7. Set clear financial goals. Define your financial future with specific and measurable goals. These habits aren't hard to follow, but they require consistency and discipline. Over time, they'll transform the way you think about money and set you on the path to financial freedom. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these habits do you think you need to work on the most? Maybe you've already started practicing some of them. What's been the most impactful for you so far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've got any other financial habits that have worked for you, feel free to share those too. Let's learn from each other. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that can help you build wealth. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Let's spread financial wisdom together. And remember, small habits today can lead to big results tomorrow. Keep building, stay consistent, and take control of your financial future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.